Welcome to the Brewery Adventure, where we explore the vibrant world of local breweries and the incredible atmosphere they create. I'm Tim.
And I'm Courtney. If you've ever wondered what makes a brewery more than just a place to grab a drink, you're in for a treat.
In each episode, we'll cover the places making beer, from the cozy corners of neighborhood tap rooms to the bustling energy of larger brew houses.
We're not just talking about the beer. We are celebrating the ambiance, the culture, and the community that make each brewery a unique destination.
So whether you're a regular at one of your local brew pubs or just curious about what's out there, join us as we uncover the magic behind the taps.
Let's embark on the brewery adventure together.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Hey, we are in for episode number 9.
Lucky number 9?
Sure, every episode can be lucky, I think. We're lucky enough to have had to have visited these breweries, so I guess we're lucky.
We are lucky. It's really rough doing research for this podcast.
It's super rough, and we stress and strain our lives through it. You know, we put off family and friends and everything else. No, we usually bring those people.
We drag them with.
Yeah. No, it's a fun gig to have, I think.
Yeah.
Fun gig. Anyway, episode number 9, and this one is about a pretty special brewery in the Twin Cities, Utepils.
I'm glad you said it first.
Yeah, it's Utepils. That's what I'm going with. I think they agree.
Yeah.
That's how it's pronounced. I mean, I think there's a super Norwegian way to pronounce it, which I'm not going to try. But I think Utepils is what it is.
That's our way.
Yeah. Utepils is located in the city of Minneapolis, right along Bassett Creek and right on the south end of Theodore Wirth Park.
It's a good spot. It always seems like an athletic brewery. There's always people running and biking and doing all kinds of activities.
Yeah, I think because of its location right next to the park, and that park connects to all the trail systems that go everywhere. And as such, there's a lot of biking groups and running groups and things that participate together and then hang out at the brewery afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very cool. Well, we have been there a few times recently. In fact, we probably visited this. I think I've been there 4 or 5 times in the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And for different kinds of events. But we are going to start by opening our beers so that we can quench our thirst a little bit while we're doing this podcast. And we both have beers from Utepils that we've acquired. I purchased mine at a liquor store. Did you pick yours up at the brewery, or did you go to the store to get it?
We've been to the brewery so many times recently, and every time I think, I'm just going to grab some crowlers, and then I don't.
Yeah, I know. And this last time we were there, there was a big event, and so the line was long, and so we didn't feel like waiting in it yet again just to buy cans to go.
Yeah,
but it's okay. Utepils is available at most all the local liquor stores, so it's pretty easy to pick up. So I have in my hand a nice can of Springbok.
Ooh.
Which actually ran out at this last event that we were at. They ran out.
That's
of it.
right.
It's a popular one. It's a Heller Bock. Let's see if I can read what it says on the can. Light colored Bock style beer with subtle and balanced malt forward flavors.
That's a lot.
It's delicious. I've had this one a number of times and it's delicious. So we're popping that one open.
That was good.
Oh yeah. I do like this beer. This is kind of like, it's not a light beer, it's not a dark beer. That box style is kind of right in the middle. Little hoppy and just foamy, goody. Num num num. What do you have tonight, Courtney?
So I went to Total Wine and got a variety pack.
Yeah.
So the one I grabbed for tonight is the Lunar Eclipse. And it's lunar, like Loon, like our lovely Minnesota bird.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And it is a Czech-style dark lager.
Did it have really good can art? Did you get a can?
Oh, it does have nice can art.
Very nice. Yeah, Utepils does a good job with their can art.
It's stylish.
I like their style.
Yeah. Oh, that splashed in my face.
That's okay. No
issues, it's okay
no
if
issues.
You're not the one with beer on your face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to be really happy with this.
Oh, this Springbok is delicious.
Okay. Now we can officially begin.
Well, give it a test.
I was wiping my face off.
Give it a test. See what it tastes like.
That's everything I wanted it to be.
Very delicious. It looks
very delicious.
Dark. Is it dark?
Dark.
Yeah. Wonderful.
A little chewy. It's good.
I love it. Yeah. We encourage anyone listening to this podcast to try any of the beers that we try from these breweries. Most of the breweries that we have gone to, they are available in local Minnesota, Twin Cities liquor stores. A few of our breweries are distributed wider than that, but certainly if you're in the Twin Cities, you can pick up any of these things.
If you're not in the Twin Cities, you could always try, bribing us to send you some.
I mean, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. We could maybe trade with someone from Wisconsin for some spotted cow or something.
That brand has other beer flavors other than spotted cow that are pretty good.
Yeah, they do. It's true. It's true. We won't talk about that brewery, though. We will talk about Utepils in Minneapolis.
Stay focused.
Yeah. So, like I said, we have been there many times recently. And we'll talk about why we've been there so often a little bit later. But, Courtney, what do you really like about Utepils? What's your first thought about Utepils?
It immediately feels like the comfortable community brewery hangout when you walk in.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's everything comfortable about it. The staff, they greet you when you come in, when they're taking your beer order. They're super, super friendly. It's just a really easy space to sit in for hours.
Yeah, I agree. And it's indicative of the fact that this brewery was started by a group of friends, right? Sitting around drinking beer and talking about their dreams of starting a brewery. And they've created a nice community brewery. They're
Absolutely.
Very connected to their neighborhood, the area around them. And there's almost every time you go in there, it seems like there's something going on where you walk up the ramp. When you walk in their front door, you kind of walk up this ramp to get to their tap room. And there's almost always some tables along the side and like community members selling stuff they make or
Girl Scouts
or just things that are, they're inviting the community in to share what they do as a passion for them. And I think it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And I really liked, there was a quote that was in there somewhere that it's not, and I think this is indicative of our love of breweries as well. It's not necessarily about the beer. It's not the beer that's making the memories. It's the people that you're sharing that beer with.
Yeah.
And I think that's Utepils. Because even if you people are super friendly there. They just come up and start talking to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and Utepils was created out of, as it says on their website, I think a shared love of the classic styles of European brews. And they do make some good beers in there. They had their grand opening February 18th, 2017. So they've been open a while now.
Yeah.
Yep. And as we talked about, they picked the location on purpose. It's right on Bassett Creek. So they got a nice creek running right by. It's actually right next to this, depending on if you go in the day or the nighttime, especially if you go in the nighttime, this very tall, creepy looking old mill called the Fruin Mill. That's right next door to them, behind their building. And it kind of looms over the place. And it's got a lot of graffiti on it.
A lot of graffiti.
A lot of graffiti. It's obviously, it's been closed down for many a year. And but it's there because there's a little falls behind the building on the creek. And that provided power. And and also water, because there are natural springs right there, which is where Utepils gets their water to make their beer.
Which is super cool.
Yeah. There used to be a big water company in Minneapolis called Glenwood Inglewood, and Glenwood is the street that all this stuff is right off of. And they did bottled water, like for offices mostly, like those big bottles of water that you would actually put on top of this thing that would gurgle when you got your little cone of water out of it. If you're familiar with office culture from years past. Not much of that going on anymore. But the water is still being used by Utepils. And, but yeah, it's a very kind of cool location, just being along the creek and the old industrial mill behind it. And There's a park right next door on the other side, so it's really a neat location.
I had not gone over to see the falls until
Yeah,
we went over there for something we'll discuss later.
right.
But that was my first time going to see the falls, and I would recommend people walk back there and take a peek because it's kind of neat. The water, the noise of the water rushing by is really nice.
I mean, we're not trying to fool you into thinking it's Niagara back there or Minnehaha or even Minnehaha. It is not a large falls, but the water does fall.
The waterfalls.
The water does fall, and but it's just a unique location, and you can take a walk around back there through the parking lot and find it. We have had many different beers while we've been at Utepils.
Yes.
Courtney and I have been there together a few times recently. Most recently, we went for something called Grunge Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let Courtney tell you about Grunge Day because she is a lot more into it than I am. So hear her excitement as she tells you.
There's a band that I've mentioned on here before when I'm talking about LTD called Grunge Unplugged.
Yeah.
They're a Twin Cities cover band of grunge music. Well, grunge music and some alternative music. But they were doing a Grunge Day at Utepils. So I didn't have to twist your arm too hard to come.
No, you did not. And I even prepared for this event.
You did.
By buying a flannel.
Yep.
I bought a new flannel, which, to be grungy, I guess you don't need a new flannel. But anyway, I got a new flannel. And I thought, what else can I wear under the flannel? Because I have a lot of geocaching related T-shirts and such. And I thought, I don't know, that doesn't really fit the Grunge Day theme for me. And so I thought, I got to check at Target and see what they got in that, section of like graphic tees that they have in the men's department at Target. Sure enough, they had a Nirvana shirt in there.
Nailed it.
So I picked up a Nirvana T-shirt, wore that under my flannel, and fit right in. That particular day, they were giving $1 off beers if you were wearing a flannel.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super awesome.
It was a good plan. And your Nirvana shirt was the same as one of the band members in Grunge Unplugged.
Yes.
You did very good.
I will probably wear it again sometime.
Because I'm going to make you go see them again?
I would see them again. I'm not like grunge music was not my thing because that's kind of like early 90s to mid 90s, right? Would be your typical grunge
90s.
Time period. I was not into that stuff, that kind of music at the time. I got married in 1991, had young kids in the middle of the 90s, and was not listening to a lot of music at the time. And if I was, it was probably kid related. Or Christian music that I listened to from church, that kind of thing. So I just didn't get into it. So very few of the songs that I recognized, but I did know some of them.
You did know some of them. And,
Yep.
I mean, we were in a sea of flannel shirts, people singing along.
And Courtney looked like the youngest person there. I definitely fit in. With the bald-headed dudes in their flannels. Knowing they knew the music though, I did not, but I knew only very little of it.
I mean, there was a guy standing behind your wife Krista who was super into it. He was dancing and singing, and he was having the best time of anybody in that room. Yeah,
so I knew a couple of the songs. I knew an Alanis Morissette song that they played, which I guess is grunge adjacent. But I knew that one. I think I knew one of the Nirvana songs that they played. And then I knew Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden right before we left.
Yeah.
So I knew all of those tunes, but they're a very talented band. And it is kind of fun to listen to them, their acoustic versions of these songs.
Yeah.
So if you ever get a chance to hear them, get out there and hear them. They play at breweries all over town.
All over town. Grunge Unplugged.
And I'm sure at other places too, not just breweries. They probably do shows at small clubs and whatnot too. But anyway, check them out. They are awesome. Utepils, like I said before, almost always has something going on. So not only do they have like tables inside where they're quite often community members sharing what they do as a passion, but also they have running clubs that meet there, biking clubs that meet there. There's quite often a cribbage thing that goes on. Once a week, they do a meat raffle.
Yeah. We got to be there for part of that.
Yeah, we went one of the nights. It was the meat raffle night, and we didn't win anything.
No, but the most
they had
exciting
meats.
part was
Yeah.
cheese.
They had cheese and meat up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool because it was getting towards the end of the time when they were doing the meat raffle, and we thought, like, there's still like 6 items up there, and they only have one more drawing left. So what do they do with this extra stuff? And the lady that was calling out the numbers, she just put it all in one bag and gave all of it to the last person.
I really wanted to win that one.
I know. And that guy wasn't. That guy
It was
not
mostly cheese
sharing.
that was left up there.
I don't think that guy was sharing either. He should have been
No.
sharing with those of us that were losers.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know him, so we won't talk too bad about him.
We need to discuss the community spirit of Utepils with him.
Right, exactly. Yeah, get that. Share that stuff.
Sharing is caring.
So we have really enjoyed our time at Utepils. Parking situation there, if it's a really busy night, like the Grunge Day, for instance, it was a big event. So not only was there the big event going on, but it was a gorgeous day outside.
Yes.
And so anytime a gorgeous day is happening here in Minnesota, the breweries with good patios are going to be crowded.
And they have a great patio.
And they have a great patio because they're along the creek. They've got trees back there, a big fire pit, lots of different seating options. They have some picnic tables. They have just Adirondack chairs along the water. They have just regular plastic lawn chair type things strewn about all the rest of the place, so you could just sit wherever you want to sit. But it does get busy there when it's nice out because of that. It's a gorgeous place to be. Everybody wants to be there. Yeah. So the parking situation can get a little dicey. They have some parking right outside the brewery, some kind of back by the mill. If you drive in there and you go back by that big abandoned mill, they have more parking back there. But you do have to be careful where you park because there's a couple other businesses in the other buildings there. And so there are some no parking areas. So just be careful where you park if you go. You can also park. There's a little lot up at the top of the hill. And then there's one long street that kind of goes along the park next door. And you can park on either side of that road. But a couple of times I've been way down at the end of that road and had to walk back.
The parking is an adventure.
But it's all worth it. It's all worth
Yes.
it. It's definitely worth it to go to Utepils. You can even park, if it's a nice day, you can park up at Theodore Wirth and walk over.
You can do that too.
Because they got some nice lots up there. You could just walk over and have a nice stroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you want to say about the inside or the outside of Utepils? What else did you catch in there that you really like?
We're not going to get into your
No.
special.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
I would
Everybody's
say
waiting for that.
I
so we have
don't
to
know
build.
what part of the machinery that is, but there is the big copper dome that is hanging over the bar
Yes,
area
I think
inside. That's really neat.
I think that's the top of an old mash tank from a brewery. I doubt it was a piece that Utepils ever used, but it's definitely like the top of a big tank.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and they have like a disco ball underneath it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes it cooler.
So yeah, they've done a good job in there. The atmosphere inside and outside at Utepils is something that you want to experience. You want to be there and see what it's like. They got some really great artwork up on the wall that they put a lot of effort into. There's some plants, a lot of different kinds of seating inside. So you can sit along the bar. You can sit at a smaller table or a larger table. Lots of different choices. And then, of course, the patio as well. And you can order beer inside. There's a line to get inside. And when the patio is open, they're usually serving beer from the outside as well. You can walk right up to a window on the outside.
Makes it easy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, let's get briefly to the bathroom review, and then we'll move on to the other things that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
The bathrooms at Utepils are kind of right inside the front door as you come in. And like I said, there's a ramp that kind of goes up to the tap room, but if you want to go to the bathrooms, just stay to the right. Don't go up the ramp. Just walk right into the bathrooms. And I think they're decent. The bathroom door, I think almost every time I've been there has been propped open.
I was just going to say, I think it's
because
always
they
open.
have those little, kind of that little angle where you walk in, you turn, so like you can't see into the bathrooms from the hallway.
No.
So nice, decently clean bathrooms, I think. No, I got no complaints about it, in fact. The door does have a little kick thing on it if the door is closed, so you can use your foot to get out, which I super appreciate.
These are all good things.
Yeah. Did you have any pluses or minuses to add about the bathrooms before I give my rating?
The women's bathroom is very spacious. So there's lots and lots of room if there are people just milling about, not using one of the stalls.
Yeah.
There's room for them to be standing and it's not super crowded in there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of standing room, yeah.
Yeah. The one weird thing that I keep laughing at, there are 2 sinks in the women's restroom.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I've been in there, one of them has been like X'd out with caution tape.
Oh.
But I think it's been a different one each time. Like it keeps changing from the left one to the right one.
No such problems in the men's room. All the sinks are operable. Maybe that's because guys don't use them.
Oh.
I don't know.
You
never know. Anyway, they're not getting worn out. No. I will give the bathrooms a rating of 8 out of 10 because they are actually, I noticed a couple of times we've been there when it's been really busy. I think they're on the small side. I think the men's room even is on the small side for when there's a large thing going on. Again, on a normal day-to-day, you're there on a weeknight, perfectly fine. No problem.
I think you had to wait for the restroom.
I did.
On Grunge Day. I never had that problem.
Maybe there were more guys there than women, although it seemed kind of 50-50.
And I don't know what it's like in your bathroom, but in the women's restroom, the water is always this really nice, like it's not ice cold water when you go to wash your hands.
Mm.
It's a little bit warm.
A plus. Okay, we'll give them an 8.5.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. So let's get to why we have been at Utepils so often recently.
Yes.
Now, the first time that we kind of hung out there together, we went over there because we did some geocaching in the park nearby. I was filming one of my YouTube videos, and we were walking around doing some geocaches nearby the brewery in the park. And so, of course, we were going to go over to the brewery.
Yeah.
We knew we had to do that way. That's where we always end up, is at a brewery. So we made our way over there and had a great experience that time. But the main reason we've been there is because we're getting involved in a big event that's coming up on the 26th of April, which is why we wanted to get this episode of the podcast about Utepils Brewing out. We're actually recording this the day before it's going to come out, which is unusual for us.
Very unusual for us.
We normally record a week to 2 weeks before an episode gets released, so this is going to be a quick turnaround. But we have an event coming up on the 26th called Strib Unbound.
Outdoor adventure for all.
Yeah, outdoor adventure for all. Do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
I think most often when they have talked to us about it, they've talked about it being an event for the silent sports outside that you do. So not like big team kind of sports, but they're going to have, we're going to be there to talk about geocaching. There's going to be bird watchers and runners and bikers and kind of just outdoor activity kinds of things that it's not like going to play on a softball team or something like that.
Right.
These are more individualized kind of outdoor activities.
Correct. And the reason this is happening, it's happening in this area because of Theodore Wirth Park. And there's a facility in Theodore Wirth Park called the Trailhead Facility. And Minneapolis Parks has a thing in there, as well as the Lopet Foundation. And it's all in conjunction with the park system and the Star Tribune and Utepils Brewing, kind of all doing this thing together. And so there will be things going on up at the Trailhead facility. What are the hours at the Trailhead facility? Do you remember what those hours are?
9 to 3.
9 to 3 at the Trailhead facility, and then noon, I think, to 6 at Utepils, if I remember correctly. And yes, as Courtney said, there's going to be information, booths, and tables about lots of different outdoor activities. Courtney and I are doing this for geocaching, but specifically not just geocaching, but also adventure labs.
Yes.
And adventure labs are another part of geocaching. If you're not familiar with geocaching, please look it up. It's geocaching.com. You can find lots of great information about this particular outdoor activity that Courtney and I do. But there's a kind of a sub part of that called adventure labs, and it's part of geocaching, but also there are a lot of people that do adventure labs that aren't doing geocaching regularly either. So there's kind of people that do both and kind of people that do one or the other. But adventure labs are kind of a good entry point to geocaching because it's location based. Use your phone. You download the app. It's an Adventure Lab. It's called an Adventure Lab app. You can look that up online as well. And we'll put information about all this, I think, in the show notes below the episode here. You can look these things up. And but it's kind of a good entry point because they're generally pretty easy as far as like getting to them. You can most often walk, bike, or drive your car to these locations. Some of the Adventure Labs are very tight knit in an area, so you could easily walk like all parts of it. And other ones are going to be more spread out. You might want to take a bike, or you might want to drive your car from location to location. Some of them are so spread out, you might want to do that. So Courtney and I are creating one.
Super exciting.
It's a 10-stage Adventure Lab that we are creating. There will be locations around the brewery. And over in Theodore Wirth Park at a few different locations over there. We've got the beach house, we've got the trailhead, we've got a couple of other unique locations to go and check things out. And if you download the app, you can follow along in this Adventure Lab and you can pick these locations and go and answer a question there. It'll give you a question and you got to find the answer. And then you can complete the Adventure Lab that way. And if you're a geocacher, each stop that you do is another geocaching find on your profile, so your stats go up.
Yeah.
Which, geocachers are super into stats. They love to keep stats on all the finds that they have and the hides that they have, and every little detail about those finds and hides is all tracked. So it's going to be a pretty cool thing, I think, and a unique way for people to get out into the park.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and if you're not familiar with geocaching, if you're not familiar with Adventure Labs, come over, check it out. We can help you. We can show you what to do. You could just come have a beer with us, and that's fine too.
Yep. Courtney and I will be there on the 26th of April during this event at Utepils Brewing. We won't be up at the trailhead. We'll be located at the brewery. So bonus, have a beer.
Yes.
I mean, come on. That's why we wanted to be located at the brewery. And we will be there sharing about geocaching and about Adventure Labs. We can actually take people out and kind of take them to the nearby locations around the brewery just to get them started if they want to do that. And we can just share about this cool hobby that we do together.
Yeah. We're going to have a good time.
We're going to have a good time. We're going to have some information there about geocaching so you can learn about it. It'll have some information boards, some different things about the hobby that you can learn about. And we'll be pretty much stationed at that table on that afternoon, but I don't know, we may be missing for a while because Courtney says she's going to do the log rolling.
There's going to be log rolling.
It's going to be log rolling, not in the creek, by the way. It's going to be in a tank out in the parking lot. So you can come ready to give log rolling a try.
Yes.
And if Courtney's going to do it, I want to be out there as well so I can film it.
I thought you were going to say you were also going to try it with me.
I don't know. I don't want to break myself in any way.
It's water.
The log is not water.
Well, don't land on the log. Don't fall.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But anyway, I want to make sure that I film her falling because that will make great Instagram stuff for the podcast.
Great.
But yeah, come and check out the event on the 26th at Utepils. It's going to be a great time.
I mean, we're going to be there. There's log rolling. There will be music performances happening at Utepils.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think they also have a thing with the game Settlers of Catan. Catan?
Yes.
Catan.
I
never know which
Catan.
way to say it.
I think
Catan?
it's Settlers of Catan.
Yes. They are going to have a whole big thing with that game and teaching people how to play it. And
there is so much going on there.
I'm excited for that part too. I might not be spending a lot of time at our geocaching booth.
Well, we'll be there, and we'll have a couple of other geocachers there too. So I think we'll be able to walk away.
We can rotate,
rotate in and out of it, and still keep it staffed. So yeah, don't miss out on that event. It's gonna be very cool. Stop by, say hi to us. We can give you a sticker for the podcast.
Yes,
come by. We'll have those available. And we'd love to chat with any of you that have been in our audience. We don't get a lot of responses through our emails, or the contact page on the website. We don't get a lot of responses there, and we'd love to hear more from people about what they like about the podcast, what they don't like about the podcast. You got any thoughts about bathroom ratings? Do you have what kind of beers do you like? What kind of beers don't you like? What breweries have you been to that you just loved and we haven't done yet? We would love to hear about all of those things from you. So if you want to give us a contact on that day, just stop by and talk to us face to face. We would love it. We would love it. What do you think?
I think I have two more things for Utepils.
Yeah.
Something that I neglected to bring up that I can't believe.
I know. I can see it on our list now that we skipped over one thing right before bathrooms.
It's very important. The flight situation.
The flight situation. Yeah.
What
do we got going on?
An amazing flight holder.
Mm-hmm.
If you order a flight, you're ordering a flight ski. So they have these holders created out of old skis that have been cut. So you get like the little swoopy part, and they've drilled holes in it to put in all the little flight things. And it's like, it's the best thing ever.
You mean the beers, not the flight things. The beers go in there.
Yeah, the beers go in.
Yeah.
But the flight holder is what's really amazing.
It is very cool. And it's another part of just the theming of the place that they've just held all together about it being outdoorsy and park oriented and community oriented. The flight skis fit right into that.
Absolutely. And because we've been there so many times, I haven't been getting flights every time because now I kind of know like I'm willing to commit to having more of this one kind of beer. Oh, re-pour.
Yeah, I got to pour the rest of it in the glass.
And I have found that I really super enjoy their Ewald the Golden.
Yeah, Ewald the Golden is delicious. I just had one. I was out for lunch with some friends. My wife and I were out to lunch with some friends. We were down in Prior Lake at Charlie's on Prior. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. It's a cool little place right on Prior Lake. And we sat out on their patio and had lunch on Sunday. And they had Utepils beer there. So I had an Ewald the Golden there. It was delicious.
And I've been logging my beers on Untappd.
Yep.
And I will also say that whoever is checking that from Utepils, they have been very responsive and engaging in responding to my beer check-ins.
Yeah.
I've had some fun. And they let me know that there's going to be an Ewald the Dark in the fall.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to that.
I didn't write it down. Do you remember the name of the beer? It was kind of at the top of their tap list when you go to order them. That was the one where you can add in the other flavors.
Oh, it had a bunch of different flavors on it.
I know it had a bunch of different flavors, but I don't remember the name of the beer that they were adding the flavors to.
The Berliner Weisse.
Oh, the Berliner Weiss, yeah.
Yeah.
It was that's a unique way to order a beer too. They have that, you just order that beer and then you can choose from this list of like 5 different flavors. And I've done the tart apple, and was good. It was really, really good. So you can just it's kind of like going to the coffee shop and getting shots of whatever the flavor in your coffee. And this is just adding it into a beer.
You get to pick it.
Yeah, you get to choose your flavor. That was really great. Was there one other thing you wanted to talk about Utepils about before we end this particular episode?
Those were my big things. I would have been very sad if I had not brought up the flight when they have such a cool flight situation.
Yes. So we would encourage you to visit Utepils Brewing anytime that you get an option to do so. It's a wonderful place to visit, especially if the weather is super nice. You sit out on that patio. So nice. So nice. Well, I think we've come to the end of another brewery podcast. Courtney, how can people get in touch with us if they would like to do so, and we would like them to?
Thanks for asking, Tim. People can get in touch with us by emailing us at tim@thebreweryadventure.com or courtney@thebreweryadventure.com, by going to our website, thebreweryadventure.com, or Instagram, The Brewery Adventure, YouTube, The Brewery Adventure. There's a common theme, and it's
if you
Brewery
can't find
Adventure.
Us, The Brewery Adventure, you should be able to find us on one of these places. We put out, I try to make sure that I get a YouTube video about the brewery out about the same time that the podcast goes live. So tomorrow when this podcast goes live, hopefully I will have the Utepils video up so that you can kind of get a walkthrough look at the place if you have never been there before, so you can get an idea what it looks like before you come. Well, thank you so much for everyone listening to this Brewery Adventure podcast about Utepils Brewing. Next time, in the next episode, we will be making our way yet again to Forgotten Star Brewing. Yes, which is along the Mississippi River up in Fridley.
We're going from a creek
I think
to a
that's
river.
That's the south end of Fridley, right? Pretty
Yeah.
sure. Forgotten Star Brewing. It is a wonderful brewing as well in an old industrial building that's got some really cool history, and we'll talk about that then. So until next time, Courtney, cheers to you.
Cheers. Hope to see you on Saturday.
And cheers to everyone. Join us on the 26th at Utepils Brewing. See you then.